Hello, this is Heidi Lassane, and I'm the asthma coordinator for the Environmental Protection Agency Region 4. As we work to create asthma awareness and learn about asthma triggers, we decided to educate you about what's going on at the Environmental Protection Agency. To that end, we've created a podcast series that is centered around indoor air quality and to bring you information, new ideas, and maybe most importantly, solutions to your concerns about air quality contaminants or naturally occurring phenomena that can create health issues. So, welcome and thanks for listening. Today, I would like to welcome our guest to talk about environmental asthma triggers and indoor air quality. Before we get started with introductions, I would like to state that the mention or referral to commercial products or services and or associated web links to non-EPA sites does not imply official EPA endorsement or responsibility for the opinions, ideas, data, or products presented at those locations or guarantee the validity of the information provided. Mention of commercial products or services on non EPA websites is provided solely as a pointer to information on topics related to environmental protection that may be useful to EPA staff and the public. Now, I would like to introduce the Timberline Air Program's program manager, Lauren Baker. Lauren is responsible for developing and running the AIR program. Timberline is heavily involved in indoor air quality education and improvement across the nation. And in creating the AIR program, hope to reach more communities and provide viable resources to not only help others understand the importance of breathing clean air, but outline what actions can be taken and what tools are needed to achieve better indoor air quality and improve the health and safety of their space, from medical facilities to daycares and classrooms to worship centers and beyond. Lauren has been heavily involved in reaching these communities through webinars, in person events, and more, where her and the AIR program have been able to touch the lives of many through cleaner air. Welcome to our new podcast series, Lauren, and thank you so much for being our first featured guest. We're glad you could join us, and we appreciate your time and knowledge around important topics of asthma. And now I will start our first question. Lauren, are you ready?
Yes, Heidi, thanks for the introduction.
Yes. First question. What impact does environmental pollution have on asthma rates?
Well, more than 1 in 3 Americans are exposed to unhealthy levels of air pollution, according to the American Lung Association. And air pollution is known to be a common trigger of asthma development and symptoms. Pollutants like diesel emissions, smoke particulates, dust, pollen, and mold are all common triggers of asthma, as they can cause lung irritation and damage over time and are prevalent in both outdoor and indoor settings. Areas of higher environmental pollution often experience greater asthma rates because of that influx of triggers.
Wonderful. Now, I work for the Environmental Protection Agency, but I'm going to ask you, how does EPA address these areas with higher pollution?
These communities overburdened by environmental and public health issues are often classified as environmental justice communities. These communities are commonly of lower socioeconomic status and contain minority populations, which are seen to have a greater correlation with higher asthma rates versus communities that don't experience this level of burden. With that, environmental pollution is strongly correlated with asthma, creating an even stronger need for improvement to stop this negative trend. This is more apparent in the current initiatives and funding led by federal agencies like the EPA, but there should be a continuous drive for greater awareness and action towards its remediation.
What sort of trends in asthma risk and where and awareness have you observed in the community as you work to improve air quality through your work as an indoor air quality educator and remediator?
Well, through the Timilon Air program, we've been fortunate enough to help with many communities across the US, particularly those who are disadvantaged either socioeconomically or environmentally. These environmental justice communities of concern, made up primarily of minority populations or populations below the poverty line, are often historically burdened by factors like high industrial pollution, greater urban development, and local hazardous waste production, which unfortunately contributes to health disparities and overall lower quality of living. Poor air quality is often the result of these pollution sources, which we know greatly impacts the health and well-being of those exposed to it. While these issues are significant, the affected communities don't always have the right resources on hand to make the positive change. Through the AIR program, we strive to fill that gap by providing the proper tools and education to make a substantial impact on public health and safety, starting with indoor air quality. In diving deeper into some of our work, we've witnessed and addressed firsthand some of the areas of concern for these communities, from indoor air quality to inadequate ventilation means, high environmental pollution levels, and high prevalence of chronic illnesses like childhood and adult asthma. Our role as a resource for improving health and safety within public spaces through clean air has served a variety of industries, including K through 12 schools, worship centers, municipality buildings, and nursing homes. And in these critical and high traffic areas, we've realized trends in communities recognizing issues of poor indoor air quality or of increased cases of asthma and other health issues in children or adults. But often this comes with the lack of knowledge or resources for how to properly or effectively remediate these health concerns. We've already discussed how these environmentally disadvantaged communities are subject to greater levels of environmental pollution and in turn carry greater risk for increased asthma cases. We do our best to work as educational and actionable resources by teaching communities about the importance and relevance of proper indoor air quality, especially to maintain health and safety, as well as create actionable strategies for communities to implement for indoor air quality improvement and community-wide engagement and awareness.
What roles do HVAC systems play in asthma outcomes?
HVAC systems play a crucial role in ventilation for most buildings, designed to circulate air and remove particulates that can impact overall health and safety. HVAC systems are very common at most public spaces, especially for maintaining the comfort of occupants from a heating and cooling perspective. In terms of its impact on asthma outcomes, HVAC ventilation does contribute to overall particulate levels, made to dilute these levels through its circulation and filtration process. While HVAC ventilation can contribute to lesser asthma triggering particulates, it can also pose limitations that impact the efficiency of the system and its ability to reduce particulate levels, which is where the need for additional air cleaning sources comes into play.
Further, what are some limitations of traditional ventilation sources in curbing overall asthma prevalence?
So HVAC systems can pose several limitations. To start, older HVAC systems often lack the ability to provide adequate ventilation, especially in larger facilities that experience what we like to call dead zones. Second, higher efficiency HVAC filters like MERV 13 or greater operational practices can come at an energy and capital cost for buildings. Third, repairs and replacements to older HVAC system poses substantial capital expenses, which is not always feasible for communities, especially those who are financially disadvantaged. And finally, HVAC systems can even be the cause of airborne pollutants, specifically from microorganisms caused by the system or building moisture buildup that can be distributed via air circulation into common air supply that occupants are exposed to. Beyond HVAC systems, ventilation from outdoor air sources can create even greater risk to asthma-prone individuals, as this exchange of air allows for outdoor pollutions to enter indoors and further pollute enclosed spaces. This is an even greater risk for environmental justice areas that experience heightened pollution.
And why is air quality crucial in reducing asthma and other respiratory diseases? And what can communities do to improve it?
That's a great question. So, indoor air quality contributes heavily to asthma development and symptoms, as outdoor and indoor air pollutants like diesel particulates, smoke, dust, and mold are all common asthma triggers, which can be harbored in poor indoor air quality. Especially crucial for communities living near industrial or environmental pollution sources, proper indoor air quality becomes highly important for reducing exposure to outdoor triggers. As we all know, Americans spend on average 90% of their time indoors, where pollution can often be 2 to 5 times more concentrated than it is outdoors. The best place for communities to start is by addressing their ventilation and filtration. Poor indoor air quality often stems directly from inadequate ventilation, while optimizing HVAC is one route to take. As we've looked at some of the limitations that can come with it, it is important to consider other modes of improvement, such as portable air purifiers or other air cleaning technologies, as recommended heavily by ASHRAE, the CDC, and the EPA. As part of our mission to aid community spaces, we always urge education of the current building standards for indoor air quality and what it means in terms of ventilation and filtration improvements for spaces. This, followed by understanding the resources available through federal funding, guidelines, and recommendations, creates a roadmap for communities to follow in order to implement the right clean air changes that can improve issues like increased asthma cases, both proactively and long-term. We share our understanding and expertise about indoor air quality and provide the best recommendations for improving that suit both the community at hand and the governing standards and recommendations in action.
How do programs like yours contribute to better indoor air quality for communities nationwide?
The Timilon Air program has served as a trusted resource for hundreds of community spaces nationwide, including over 200 worship centers in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia areas, classrooms, daycares, municipality buildings, and nonprofit organizations in the metro Atlanta area, communities of Camden, New Jersey, and over 120 nursing homes nationwide to educate communities and help make impactful changes to indoor air quality. By continuously educating ourselves on the latest indoor air quality trends, standards, and recommendations from sources like ASHRAE, CDC, the White House, and of course the EPA, we've been able to continuously adapt our efforts to best help communities combat issues related to environmental or public health burdens while staying attuned to directions from public health authorities, whether it be initiatives like the Clean Air and Buildings Challenge and the Justice 40 initiative, or funding opportunities designed for communities to make the necessary improvements to indoor air quality and reduce risk to occupant health. EPA's Asthma Awareness Month initiatives are an excellent place to start, as they have significant relevance to the health and safety of our environments that we live, work, and play in, and we want to continue being a leader in creating awareness and improving the environment and public health.
Lauren, I would like to thank you so much today. This was awesome. What a way to kick off our first podcast. And audience, I would like to thank you for joining us today. I hope you learned something new, and I would like for you to look out for our next podcast coming soon. Don't forget to go to www.epa.gov/asthma for more information and to join our community. That is asthmacommunitynetwork.org to see archived webinars, resources, and upcoming events from all over the nation. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.